What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are finally going to be buttoning up everything that the Z needs to turn the key. Just got it back from Fabrication. Shout out to Harvey from Hutch's Welding. He took care of everything that I needed to finish up on the kit, and it came out amazing. 10 out of 10. Customer service, everything was, he hit the nail on the head, man. So very happy with that. So let me show you guys, and then we'll get into this video.
Troy Savage.
Alright guys, so let's go over everything that was done on Fabrication, then we'll go over what's left to do and start tackling everything one by one. So the most apparent thing obviously is the hood exit, and again Harvey went above and beyond because I didn't expect a little teardrop, which is fire, right? And I didn't expect him to cut the hood because, as you guys know, when it comes to Boza and these type of things here, never a good sign. So he did it A1. Hood shuts perfect. It has enough clearance on all around. It's literally mint. So that was such a bonus because I didn't even ask for that. So that was amazing to see. Then down here we have the cold side that was completely redone. I like the way that he put the blow off valve here because now easy peasy, we got the vacuum port right there, just up into the manifold, which is super easy and super convenient. He also did add a extra support here on the T4 flange, so that way we have a little bit bigger of a bar to stabilize the turbo. Obviously under load and everything, things move, so having that extra support is fire. As you guys already saw, I already had this modified, but if you know, on the VHRs and HRs, they do have like a little port here for the reservoir, so I had him weld that shut because on the radiator we have a port here, so I'm going to run this port to my overflow. So that's just small stuff. And then back here for the fuel pressure regulator, he built kind of like a little bracket off of the intake manifold, which helped a lot because normally, since I don't have the secondary firewall, a lot of people, that's where they mount their fuel pressure regulator, but obviously I don't have that. So it was kind of here just jank, just floating, so I wanted him to secure that, and we got that all squared away. It's flush, it looks good, perfect, easy peasy. Over here we did have this pipe modified because what was happening with the other side is the headlight wasn't clearing it. So now he took a little bit off of the intercooler and then did a modification to this pipe, so now we're money, easy peasy, clears like like butter. And then lastly, he did mount the oil cooler here. Now it's kind of my fault because I wanted to use this big ass oil cooler, which, yes, the bigger the oil cooler, the more cooling you have, but the ground clearance is what really scares me. So I can still utilize the brackets that he made for me. I just think I might be getting a smaller cooler so that I can keep it at the same ground clearance as the intercooler, if you get what I'm saying. So you see how this sits significantly lower than the intercooler pipe? I'm trying to have a cooler that sits almost about the same as the intercooler, just for safety. I mean, it'll work, but getting this car in and on and off trailers and Florida roads always aren't the best, so it's just for my peace of mind. But yeah, so that's everything that was done on Fabrication side. Car is like 90% there. So now what we need to get done is I even forgot to talk about this, the up pipe. So he completely remade this up pipe here, and then as you guys can see, it has a V-band. So now, just to show you guys, right, we take that V-band off, right, we take off the cold side and we pop off these 2 screws, and this whole kit, like the whole turbo setup, just comes right out, which is what I wanted for simplicity and to work on the car. So that way it's super easy instead of taking off a bunch of things to get to the turbo and pull the turbo off. So yeah, that pipe is crucial. So that's the first thing that I'm actually going to be doing, is I'm going to be taking that pipe off, taking off the cold side, taking the turbo off. I'm going to heat wrap the up pipe. I am going to then be putting on the T4 gasket, because there's no gasket in there right now, just to solidify all of that and never have to take it off again, at least until, you know, it's necessary. Put the turbo back on with the gasket, get some clamps for this cold side, get that all going. I am going to pop off the return line because I need to make it shorter, so we're going to be doing that. And then I'm waiting on one of my buddies that has a vise so that I can make the AN lines for the oil cooler. That's easy peasy. And then I got to go to O'Reilly's and figure out a upper radiator hose. Again, easy stuff, nothing too crazy. And what else? And I think that's really it. I think once the oil lines are done, I need a new feed as well, but once the oil lines are done, I should be able to start it. So that would be fire. I'm going to try to have everything done in this video so that the video after this will be a first start, if, you know, God willing, and parts and everything get here, you know, in a orderly fashion. So let's get cracking. Let's knock some things off this list and keep pushing. All right, guys, quick update. I just kind of put my head down and just was grinding. So you'll see whole kit from, you know, the downside up is off, turbo's over here with everything, up pipe is off, cold side's off. So I just took everything off because obviously there's things I need to get to behind here. So first things first, finally figured out a upper radiator hose. Happy on that, because look at how many I had to buy, so go return those. Upper radiator hose, solid, done. Just need clamps, and then we could probably put coolant in this thing. Now I had an issue, which you guys will see right here. This is the alternator wire, and younger me would just send it and leave it like that. I don't know if you guys can see, but that the wire is fraying there a little bit, but I rather get this taken care of now. So luckily I have a few part out cars, and I was able to steal the pins and wires. So now what I'm going to be doing, which I don't like to do, because again, I don't want to say I'm not good at this, because I haven't done it enough to even make that statement, but wiring always is a pain in the ass for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to depin the connector. I'm going to cut it right here at the pins, wire in, you know, heat shrink everything, the wires over here, because I also want to make them longer so that this doesn't happen again. Because what was happening here is that there was just too much strain on this wire, so that's why it got cooked right there. So now I'm going to be able to extend them and then repin it back into the connector and solidify that. I can plug everything back in under here and be good to go. I also figured out like a little bracket here. So this bracket, what it'll do is it'll hold the alternator wiring right here with a zip tie, so it keeps it away from the header and it keeps it away from the up pipe here. Obviously it's still going to get hot, but that's why we have the fire sleeve on it, just to be extra. But yeah, we have to, you know, solidify these things, because this is shit that down the line, you know, we could run into issues, and I don't want to run into issues with this type of stuff. So we got that. I got some tools, so we're going to be depinning that. Then over here, I got the alternator wire that goes to the battery. I doubled up, and this is going to run underneath the cold side piping here. And I also have the old power steering bracket. So as you can see, there's 2 holes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reutilize that, obviously cut it and mount it, so that way I can have something to keep this up and out of the way. Obviously it's still going to be hot, but that's why we fire sleeved it and made sure that, you know, it's protected, at least since it is close. And we are going to be wrapping the up pipe. So heat management should be really good. That's always been my goal, especially with how hot this is gonna get. But yeah, so these are the small little things that I said always take the longest time, because we want this to be done right and not have any issues in the future. So I'm gonna keep grinding, and I'll update you guys as soon as I get everything squared away. All right guys, so like I stated in the previous clip, we got the alternator plug repinned and extended, and as you can see here, we have it zip tied to the bracket so it keeps it away from the header and off to the side. Obviously it's still close, but we're working with what we got here. And then I have the alternator power wire that's going from the back of the alternator up to the battery, ran here, obviously double fire sleeved, and it's ran under the intake. Now I was gonna use the bracket, but I actually had one of these I forget what these clamps are called, but this worked better because it just keeps it like tight to the frame rail. So we're good there. And as you can see, it looks like it's resting on it, but once this gets pulled up with the turbo, there is a slight bit of separation between it. So like I said, it's gonna get hot. It just we want to prevent it from catching on fire or melting the wire. So I think we'll be straight. Obviously time will tell, but for right now we're good there. I got this all wrapped up as well, some metal zip ties. So now that is back onto the car. Now I'm gonna just focus on getting the gasket onto the flange here, put the gasket on, mount this back up, and that'll probably be the last time it needs to come off of the car. And then yeah, and then we'll just keep pushing there. I got like a couple clamps that I need to figure out, stuff like that. And then I also got the vacuum tee in right here. So we have the boost gauge plumbed. We have everything plumbed. Once I get the cold side coming from the turbo, I'll go ahead and run the vacuum line for the blow-off valve. And yeah, man, little by little, I should be getting the other oil cooler today. So maybe I can at least kind of map out the lines and see what I need and then get those done. Like I said, I really want to have the car literally like 99% done at the end of this video, so that the next video can be trying to get it started. So stay tuned. Let's keep grinding, and I'll update you guys as we go. All right guys, it is a new day. Let me just update you guys on everything. So I did get the smaller oil cooler mounted, semi-mounted. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just run a longer bolt and maybe have like a little spacer in between the bracket, and then I'm gonna cut down here, drill my holes, and modify it, just because this gives me better peace of mind. It's up higher, it's not that low to the ground, and it's still a pretty sufficient cooler. So we're all set there, and then I can actually now, once this is mounted, start making the lines for the oil cooler. So that's there. Now I do have to share some unfortunate news, because like I said, I'm a human being and shit happens. So when I was putting the T4 gasket on, I went to go mount the turbo, and as you guys see, we have two brackets, one here and one here, and they mount to the timing cover. So the top one is right here, right? And then the bottom one has a spacer and it sits right there. My dumbass tightened this too much and I ripped the threads out. So now I have to rethread it. I am not very confident in my skill set to do that, but with that being said, I've offered a couple of friends who are like certified techs good money to come and do this. If they unfortunately can't do it, then I'm gonna have to send it myself, and I think it's a heli coil or whatever, so that way it remains the same thread and I fix it myself. I have hella anxiety thinking about doing that, but it's not gonna stop me. I'm gonna keep moving forward, and if that's the last thing we do before we finish this, that'll be the last thing that we do. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I want to share the bad news with you guys because I'm human, this shit happens. So it's unfortunate, but we will get it fixed. Now moving on to the alternator wire. So as you guys remember in the last clip, I had it running right here alongside the downpipe, and just over and over in my head I'm like, bro, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it. So I just decided to bite the bullet. I went and bought some 4-gauge wire. some new terminals. So I'm going to be just making a completely new alternator wire that goes from the alternator to the battery. This little clamp that I was going to use up here, I just used it as a mock-up. I know they sell smaller ones, so that's probably what I'm going to do. But I just kind of mocked it here just to kind of get a route. So it would come out from the alternator, hook down, stay close to the frame rail, go under the frame rail, and then come up with this harness and run to the battery. That way it completely stays away from the alternator, or from the up pipe and the turbo. And obviously we're going to still put some heat wrap on it, but it just, for my peace of mind, that's way better to do than using the factory cable. So I have my buddy Chris coming over. He's going to help me get all the terminals on, get everything squared away with that, and then we can probably start mocking up the lines for the oil cooler, so that way we can at least you know, get those ready, cut them to size, and then I'll probably go to his house because he has a vise where we can now put the lines together with the proper connections and everything that they need. So little by little, you know, unfortunate that whole stripping of the threads sucks ass, but it will get figured out. I'm confident in it. So let's keep grinding, just knock things out little by little. All right guys, so quick update for you. We went ahead and ran the alternator wire from the battery to the alternator. We got Chris Moo in the building helping out. We're gonna make some AN lines, or at least get them routed. We just finished modifying the oil cooler bracket, so now that's gonna fit perfect, and then we can kind of map out the AN lines for the oil cooler. And yeah, so the alternator came out super fire. Just some 4-gauge wire. They had these new solder in terminals, which worked great. Ran it on the other side of the frame rail, like I said, under the frame rail. Got it fire sleeved, and then just quick 90 right to the back of the alternator. And this looks 10 times better, and it's just way more efficient instead of having the alternator literally sitting on the up pipe. So good there. We got clamps on the radiator. I'm still bribing someone to try to fix that thread for me, which we have some progress, so hopefully that can get done soon. And after this clip, the next thing we'll do is mock up the oil cooler, mock up the lines, and then we'll get everything squared away with getting them you know, cut, putting the fittings on, etc. All right guys, we are at the Mushiesty residence and we are gonna make some AN lines for this oil cooler. Now just a disclaimer, this is not the way that I would suggest to do it, but it's gonna work, you know what I'm saying? So we got some AN line, we have things taped off, we got our fittings, grinder and a cutoff wheel. We got that, and then we're gonna try to modify the return line for the turbo. So wish us luck, and yeah, let's get cracking. Alright, cut it straight. Straight as can be. Okay. Maybe not a good idea to spread it out. Man.
Okay. Stop it. Get some help.
Jesus. What kind of line is this? Jesus. Look, this shit don't want to. Hold on. Turn this motherfucker on. That shit did not want to break, bro. I don't understand. That shit crooked now.
That shit was doing a burnout on the line, kid. Hell nah.
Yeah, roll this bitch over.
Yeah.
Jesus.
God, that was fucking funny.
Alright, now we need to pull this bitch to have this shit straight up. Alright. Here, pull that side. Jesus.
Where are my shears at? I'm so bad.
Alright. Let your hand. We'll clean it up. Fuck that.
Yo, low key is better than the last one. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Alright. Maybe that fucking spin off we're better. Jesus Christ.
All that shit.
Alright guys, so as you saw in the last clips, we got the AN lines made. That's the original feed line. I'm gonna see if it works, even if it's just to get the car started and then we remake it later. We'll go from there, but let's get these thrown in the car, pray that we measured correctly, and see if we can button this whole system up so that we can put oil in this car. Let's see what happens. So the oil lines do indeed work. Very happy on how these came out. Shout out to Chris for helping me. They came out great. We got a 90 off the top, 120 off the bottom. The lines then come together. I put 2 of these hose clamps, so it's up and elevated. One goes above the sway bar, one goes under, as you guys can see there. Would have preferred to have it above the sway bar, but it is what it is. I mean, it's still elevated enough that I think it's pretty safe. Honestly, that line is probably a little bit higher than the engine, so if we're hitting that line, we have bigger problems. But I also don't know if I showed you guys how we modified the oil cooler bracket. So we went a little smaller. It's more elevated. Still gonna work, I think, you know. And then I'm also trying to do a duct where the reflector is on the front bumper, see if it gets more direct air. So you know, we'll see how that works out. But yes, these lines all worked out well. The turbo drain, so it worked, right? Like, it was able to get everything connected, but what was happening is no way, shape, or form of how you try to move it, it would hit the alternator right here. So obviously I'm not mad at that. We have other lines, we have other fittings. So now when we take our measurements, we have to measure from the turbo to the side of the alternator and then down to the oil pan spacer where the drain is. So got to make a drain, not a big deal. Now I also measured the oil feed, and this is it right now to the sandwich plate, and it's like, it's just too long. It's just too long. So what I'm gonna do is probably put everything back together and then go ahead and get like an exact measurement on the feed line so that we can order it and yeah, and then we should hopefully be good. I also just didn't record it, but I moved the 3-bar boost solenoid because the way I had the lines routed were wrong. Supposedly that's a common issue with people boosting these per my tuner, but yeah, so we have it routed the way it needed to be, but I wanted to just move it a little closer to where the lines are coming from because I had it down over here. So whatever, made a little bracket, got that done. So now let's just move on to putting the car back together, taking the measurements for the drain and taking the measurements for the feed, and get to work. Like I said, this video is going to be long. I have absolutely no problem with that because the next video I want to start this car, or at least attempt to start the car. So let's keep pushing away and getting everything dialed in before we start it. All right, as you guys saw in the last clip, we needed to remake the oil line. So me and Chris went ahead and remade it. It's a little bit longer. I got a 45 going down around the alternator and then a 45 to the pan. Everything works well. It's out of harm's way. It's a little closer to the downpipe, but I'll probably just wrap this with like a fire sleeve just so I can be extra and have that taken care of. So drain is 100% done. I got the measurements for the oil feed. That's going to be getting made shortly, probably like within this week. Once that is made and we can put that on the car, all we need is fluids. I went ahead and I got the GTR map sensor, so that came in the mail yesterday. I slapped that on, and yeah, man, so we're pretty much right there. So this is where I'm gonna close out the video. I think we got a lot done. We're literally missing an oil feed, oil, water, and gas, and we can try to start this thing. So I'm hyped on that. Again, like I said, this video was gonna have everything up until trying to at least start the car. So in the next video, you guys know what to expect. Wish me luck. Hopefully we don't run into any issues and we can, you know, start prepping for the dyno. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you in the next video. Peace out.